Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, what caused a Florida man's skin to literally start seeping grease?
You better call the wambulance. Bucky's got their feelings hurt.
All that and more on the way next.
Hudson, how up to date are you on your Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni drama?
Not very. I barely know who Justin Baldoni is. I have seen that there's something going around that claims that Nice Pool in Deadpool and Wolverine is making fun of Justin Baldoni, but that's literally, I just told you everything I know.
Yeah, basically, this is where we are in the case right now with the Nice Pool stuff. But it also,
so there's a case.
Oh yeah, there's lawsuits. There's all sorts of insanity going on right now between these two. Basically, there was a movie that came out last year that starred Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's called It Ends With Us.
Okay.
And it's based off of a book, and the book is about like a very bad relationship that like ends because of like domestic violence, and then there's a new relationship and it's like super romantic or whatever. But it's a very popular book that got changed into a movie. Justin Baldoni plays the bad guy, and he also is the director.
Okay.
And when the film came out, there was like some type of weird back and forth that was going on between Blake Lively and her team and Justin Baldoni and his team. And so they were kind of like doing back-to-back smear campaigns, and it smeared Blake mainly.
Okay.
Back then.
Yeah.
And then slowly the tides turned, and it turned into a situation where Blake Lively started saying that Justin Baldoni was doing some really bad stuff behind the scenes.
Okay.
So he was kind of like not
Besides
good.
the bad stuff he did on camera as the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, he was doing...
He really got in character.
Yeah. So that's what she claims.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's a big he said, she said battle going on in Hollywood. I don't know who to believe in this situation, but we do know that at one point, Blake Lively's husband, who is Ryan Reynolds, a.k.a. Deadpool, got involved because she claims that there was one time when Justin Baldoni asked for her weight because he had to pick her up in a scene. And Ryan Reynolds apparently came and like got in his face, Will Smith style, and was like, "Don't you dare ask for my wife's weight." And so, yeah, people are now saying that there's some weird similarities between Justin Baldoni as a person.
Yeah.
And the character of Nice Pool in Deadpool. And so on Tuesday, so earlier this week, a letter from Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, went to Disney, to their CEO, Bob Iger, and to Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige.
Went straight to the top.
Straight to the top. And asked the studio to preserve any documents regarding Baldoni and the creation of Nice Pool, a minor character in Deadpool and Wolverine that internet sleuths and Friedman, the lawyer for Justin Baldoni, have said that Ryan Reynolds used to mock Baldoni. So that's where we are right now. That's a real crash course for you, Hudson, but that's where we are right now.
Is that wrong, though? If he did use it to mock him?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, it was right in the movie because Nice Pool was funny.
I don't know if it was wrong, but there is a lawsuit that Justin Baldoni has, put forth against Blake Lively. Yeah. And I think he's just going to try and add this as like an extra thing, saying, yep, they really did try and defame me, by mocking me with this character in a very popular film.
Don't you feel like, I don't know, maybe you said some internet sleuths, but like the average person now is going to associate Nice Pool more with Baldoni than any average person would have otherwise, because most of us didn't even know who he was. And now that he's the one being like, hey, I think that they made fun of me. Don't like he's bringing more attention. Isn't this the Barbra Streisand effect? The thing that nobody would think about except you're bringing it up about your own self?
Yeah, but I think he actually does want more people to be talking about it. And so I don't think it actually hurts his case at all.
All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, but I will say I didn't see it until, because this case really hasn't really come out in the public eye until after, Deadpool Wolverine has been out for a while. But I didn't see it in the moment, but that's because I wasn't aware of this situation. But if you do look at a picture of Justin Baldoni with like his man bun next to Nice Pool, it's like, oh, yeah, even if you weren't trying to like copy it is pretty close as far as like what they were going for with like the receding hairline, the man bun. It's bad. And so I think they might be a little accurate with this.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I guess that I can see that. Isn't that the end of every movie, no matter what the movie is, don't they have a thing in the credits as like all similarities to any person, real or fictional, are coincidental, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that cover their tracks?
I was going to say that might be able to help Disney out here. Although Ryan Reynolds, I guess, did get involved at one point in the It Ends With Us film and like wrote one of the scenes, and like that was one of
oddly, I did hear about that.
Yeah, and like that was one of Justin's biggest issues was like Blake and Ryan seemed to be taking over the film. And so it seems like he was very involved in what was going on with Blake and Justin. So it's like it's not hard to get to the conclusion that he would kind of pull from some of these interactions to create Nice Pool.
All the drama. And it's going to be hard. Just because I don't know who he is, it's going to be hard for me to side with Justin Baldoni. I feel like it's crazy because it's not even really over with yet, but it feels like it's faded from the public eye, hasn't it? The California wildfires.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too many updates on it. I honestly thought about it yesterday. I'm like, I need to look and see how that's going.
Our attention spans are so short.
It's true.
It's been like a week since I've heard anybody like really talk about it.
Right now, we're all focused on snow in Florida and New Orleans,
which is much less of an issue.
No, yeah,
but it brings me to what I was thinking about with the wildfires. I guess I did hear one person talking about it. It sparked a thing to me. But that's sparked. But it made me think between the wildfires and like some of the other stuff I've been paying attention to, like what does it mean to be an actual hero? Because I was thinking like the firefighters, the people that have been dealing with the fires in California, like those are heroes, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have different ideas of who heroes are, and look at that person that they're famous and they give a lot of money to things, and like I mean that's nice. But are they really a hero when you compare them to like a firefighter? Because to me, one of the main things that makes you a hero is not just doing the right thing, but sacrificing something about yourself. So I don't know, if you're famous and you give a lot of money to organizations, you're sacrificing some of your money. So maybe. But firefighters are still like they're putting their lives on the line.
Right. That's a bigger deal. I would say it's a job that comes with a lot more weight than maybe, a famous celebrity.
Yeah. And they're for people they don't even know. These are strangers, but it's like, this is my job, but I'm going to help out, do what I can to keep other people safe. I even think like, talking about the snow, that I think snowplow drivers, they're heroes. Yeah. They're giving up. You think about the hours they're working. I know usually there's pretty good money in snowplowing. But like it's still a big sacrifice. The hours you have to put in at odd times of day, go away from and sometimes it just snows, and then you have to just keep, every night you're out on the roads for some reason. So I think that's being a hero. Yeah, if you're a snowplow driver listening right now, you're a hero to me.
Thank you.
It's sacrifice is what makes somebody a hero. And when you think about what God did, like he sacrificed by actually putting his life and Jesus' life on the line. And he didn't just do that kind of randomly. He did that for you and for me and for everyone. And I was thinking too, like the firefighters, they're sacrificing for these strangers. But in a way, that's almost because you can put a picture in your mind of like, well, these people are probably nice people, and they probably are. They got a family, whatever, but they're probably moral people, whatever. And I'm helping them. But when God sacrificed for all of us, he knew all the bad things about us too.
Right.
It'd be so much easier for him to go, well, all that stuff that they did. Like, I don't really need. Like, think about if you knew all the horrible things about the people around you, you'd probably be a lot less likely to want to go ahead and lay down your life for them. Yeah. For just especially somebody who's a stranger, but you also know all the bad things about them. Right. God knows all the bad things about you, knows all the good things, and he still chose to lay down his life and to make that sacrifice so that you can have something better, so that you can have life. That's a hero. Absolutely. That's somebody worth paying attention to, having a relationship. And when God knows all the negative things, the bad choices we've made, and he still wants to do that for us and still wants to be a part of your life now, that is an amazing thing. And that's, again, something worth paying attention to. And what's great is wherever you are, you can take advantage of that. You can say, hey, Jesus, I want to know more about your love for me and what you've done for me and what you think of me. and you'll actually be probably very surprised what you find out. Start talking to God, let him talk to you, and go to radiou.com/free gift. If you missed our latest food fight, it was yesterday, right around this time. We tried the new chocolate lava Reese's, and you can find that and all of our food fights and other fun stuff on the Hudson RadioU YouTube channel. But we have a future food fight in mind. It looks like the new Post Malone Oreo. The Post Malone himself. I don't know how many people have gotten their very own Oreo. Probably not many.
I was going to say, I don't remember any of the any Oreo collabs, I guess.
Yeah,
I've
with
seen,
an individual.
Right. I've seen plenty of different flavors, plenty of different special, Oreos that have come out. But yeah, I don't think I remember any individual ones with like these type of different designs and stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes people have asked, if you could have any sandwich named after you, what would it be? And I would say, this is my new answer. Oreo.
The Oreo?
Because it's never happened to anybody else before. And now Post Malone has gotten there. And his new Oreo, though, it sounds pretty good. They say it's a first of its kind Oreo because it's one classic Oreo and one golden Oreo. Yeah, but haven't grocery stores been selling store brand of doing that forever?
Yeah, I think they have, but also there is a difference in it because I think it comes with a salted caramel cream swirl.
Ooh, and shortbread, right?
Yeah, so that's the difference, I guess, is, that's the part that's never been done before.
Now that's unique.
Yeah.
That is unique and it sounds pretty interesting and pretty good. So a lot of flavors going on there though. Chocolate, golden Oreo, whatever that flavor is. I just know it's good. And then shortbread and salted caramel and all mixed together in one. And on top of that, it says here literally, there are 9 different designs on the Oreos that represent different things about Post Malone. So that's cool, I guess. I'm not really going to pay attention. I'm just going to be eating them probably.
Yeah, but I will say we probably have to try these for a food fight.
We have to. But the good news is these are actually coming to stores. This isn't like some other
weird drop.
Yeah, we don't have to buy it online or enter some contest. It looks like you can just actually go buy these in a week or two. They'll be rolling out to stores. So,
nice.
Yes, cannot wait. I think these will be really good.
I would imagine that Oreo's not releasing something that tastes bad.
That is true. I don't know what the worst Oreo I've ever had is, but it was still pretty good. Happy Friday, and it's a happy Friday for me because yesterday we got the Oscar nominations, the full list, and I mean this, Allie. This is an official homework assignment for me. I will watch. It is my goal to watch every Oscar movie that gets nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, the major awards,
yes,
and actress. Mm-hmm. And then also I'll try to see a lot of the other ones as well if I get the chance.
So that means you have to watch Wicked.
I know. You'd be happy about that. Wicked is up for Best Picture. Cynthia Erivo is up for Best Actress. Now, I will say that I always pledge to try to watch all the movies. Sometimes they're just harder to find or whatever.
Right.
Also, especially if I've never walked out of a movie in a theater before.
Yeah.
Besides to go to the bathroom. But I've never, but I will if I'm watching it on streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just don't like it.
You'll stop.
I'll just turn it straight off. But I think for me, I always like trying to accomplish the accomplishment of seeing all the movies because a lot of times I wind up finding something that I didn't expect I would like. Mm-hmm. Last year, what's a good example? Anatomy of a Fall, a movie in French and German. I would have never watched that otherwise. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
I also probably wouldn't have otherwise been interested in Maestro with Bradley Cooper playing Leonard Bernstein. And I turned that off. It was boring.
Oh.
But 2 years ago, Tar was up for a different movie about a conductor. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 hours long about a female conductor in Europe somewhere, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I would have never watched that movie. It's really long, not a subject matter I thought I'd be interested in at all. And I really enjoyed that.
Wow, 3 hours too. That's a commitment.
Yeah, but this is what I'm willing to put myself through.
Oh, apparently.
So I am excited to now have the official list. And this is going to be tough for me because Wicked is on the list, which I have no interest in whatsoever, but I will try it. Also, The Substance, which is people say is a pretty intense body horror film, which I don't do well with horror either. But I'm going to have to give that a shot. In fact, that's the one that my wife has already said she is the most interested in. So I'm going to have to put myself through it. But I am a bit squeamish, so it might be a tough time for me. But I'm excited about the Oscars. I really am.
I am excited for you. And I think from what I've heard about The Substance, Demi Moore is like amazing in it.
Yeah.
So she might win. She might win Best Actress.
I've seen, which would be huge because she's had a long career and never. Yeah, I don't even think she's been nominated before. Maybe
I'm not sure. Yeah.
But a lot of the nominees, even though obviously they're nominated, so they're acclaimed by some, but a lot of them are kind of controversial, where there's differing opinions, even if they now have been nominated. I don't really think I've heard anybody say anything negative about The Substance.
I haven't either. I guess I haven't sought out a lot of people talking about it, but I haven't heard anything bad, you know.
Besides that, it is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
But other than that, I feel like I'm off to a good start. I always feel like I'm off to a good start, though, when they put out the nominations, because, you know, I feel like I've seen half of them already, but that's the half I'm the most interested in and that are the easiest to find. So I don't know. We'll see.
Wicked's pretty easy to find. I think it's already available on some streaming services, but also I think you're going to have to report back to us after you watch Wicked.
Yeah, I definitely will. My tough thing is I'm going to have to probably spend money to watch it. It's not just in a subscription I already have.
That's true. Yeah, you do have to buy it or rent it or something.
And it might involve me, if it's not on video on demand already, I have to go to the theater alone to go see it.
No, it is available on video on demand.
Okay, thank goodness.
I think you have to you have to buy it or rent it, and it's pretty expensive.
You know, I'm fine to go to the theater alone, but to go to theater alone for Wicked, not as exciting to me. The Oscar, Conan's hosting, so even if you don't care about the movies, I think the Oscars will be fun when they come up on, I think, March 2nd.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting show with Conan. I'm excited. I've shared with you off the mic before. I really haven't watched the Oscars in many, many years, just because most of the films I'm not as interested in. Last year, loved Oppenheimer, that one picture of the year.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was well deserved. This year, there's not a movie that I'm really like, yep, that's the one that I'm
rooting for.
Yeah, I mean, Wicked for sure, but I know that's not going to win.
I feel like it's got a lot of nominations. It's an underdog to get any of to win any of the major awards.
Cynthia Riva, though, I really, really would love for her to get that nod for Best Actress.
Well, I'll report back on as many films as I can. I'm going to get started in earnest this weekend. So this would be a You Be the Judge if we were like a television show and we could show you the subject at hand. Buc-ee's is suing another Texas gas station called Superfuels. They are suing Superfuels for copyright infringement, trademark infringement, because they claim that Superfuels' logo is infringing on their logo, the famous Buc-ee beaver. Some of the things that they say, and Allie, you've seen this, so you can chime in, of course, but they say the Superfuels logo is likely to cause confusion for customers because it's similar in that it includes a smiling cartoon-style animal. Only Buc-ee's can have a cartoon-style animal smiling.
Right.
That they say closely resembles a beaver. I don't know about you, Allie, but it's clearly a dog, right?
It doesn't closely resemble a beaver.
It's about the doggiest dog I've ever seen, wearing a cape. It also has brown fur. Now, they've got you on that.
Brown and white fur.
Uh-huh.
It's not just brown, right?
And the use of red as a secondary color.
Oh my goodness.
Only Buc-ee's can use brown and red.
Sorry, it's brown and like a lighter shade of brown,
like
so like
tan.
beige. Yeah. But that's a classic dog look, in my opinion. It's got the little fluffy ears. It's got the little button nose with like the shiny little bit on top. It's so adorable with the little cape. I don't get it at all. I think they are stretching to say that this looks like their beaver logo.
Yeah, I feel like there's other like cartoons for children that could be suing Superfuels for this cartoon dog before Buc-ee's could.
I was thinking it's like more close to Paw Patrol or something like that rather than Buc-ee's.
Yeah, it looks similar to something. It's not a Buc-ee beaver.
No.
Although, can I say, because Buc-ee's, the beaver has the trademark, like, big beaver teeth.
Yeah.
Which I actually, if I'm being honest, I kind of thought it was a squirrel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, not today I didn't, but in the past, before I was informed that it was a beaver,
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a beaver. But I definitely never thought their logo was a dog. I never got those two confused either.
No, yeah, for sure.
I don't know why Buc-ee's is going through all this trouble.
I just feel like they're being petty with this.
It feels like a good advertisement for Super Fuels.
Yeah, exactly. And also, Super Fuels only has like 3 locations. It's in like the Dallas area and urban area, I think, is the 2 places that it listed. So it's got like 2 locations in Dallas and then one other location in Texas. And so it is not competing with Buc-ee's at all.
But if Buc-ee's doesn't put a stop to this right now, you never know before you know it, Super Fuels will be the gas station we all associate with Texas.
I'm sorry, but you can't own all of gas stations in the South.
You can't have a monopoly on gas stations or on the colors red, brown, and cartoon animals.
Right, like that's way too broad.
Yeah. So TikTok is back, right?
Yes.
It was banned for a very brief amount of time this past weekend. Crazy to think it was only this past weekend. It feels forever ago at this point.
It feels like a lot has happened this week.
Yeah, but it is back. However, evidently you cannot, it's still, even though you can use it, you can't get it out of the Apple App Store anymore.
Yeah, it's still not available on Google Play or the App Store.
And that has led individuals who possibly would like to enjoy TikTok on an iPhone, but now they can't, they don't have it downloaded for whatever reason. You have to find an alternate route to get it. And for some, that is eBay, where iPhones with TikTok already installed are selling for up to $50,000.
That's so crazy to me. There's literally already about 9,000 eBay listings for different devices, not even just iPhones, all sorts of different phones, smartphones that have TikTok installed. Like 9,000 listings with this? That's how many people thought about doing this? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's smart if you can get it, right?
I mean, I guess there is a potential demand for it. Like if you're getting a new phone and you want TikTok installed, this might be the route you have to take.
You think about the people that maybe their phone gets, they've been avid TikTokers.
Yeah.
Whether watching or creating, and then their phone in the next, over the course of the next 75 days or so, gets destroyed in some way, and where you can't transfer over what you had on your old phone. Now what are you supposed to do?
Right.
How are you supposed to get TikTok? There's only one way, and that's buying one of these pre-installed TikTok phones on eBay.
Feels like the black market almost, like we're dealing TikTok.
Yeah, it's right. But you got to do what you got to do.
I guess.
I wonder how much somebody would pay to get my old phone that I still have that has a cracked, like a shattered screen, but it still works other than that, and it does have TikTok on it.
I don't know.
$5 maybe?
Put it on eBay and see. Apparently the highest one on there is one that's listed for the price of $50,000. I guess that's the latest iPhone, and it has TikTok on it. So if you want to get the latest iPhone and you want to have TikTok on it, to get it guaranteed, you need to pay $50,000.
That's what you have to do. How much do you really want TikTok?
Yikes! I definitely don't want it that much.
No, neither do I.
No.
But you have to imagine that as we go through, assuming that TikTok doesn't get added back into the App Store or Google Play, the price of these phones is only going to go up.
It's true.
Because that's a supply and demand, and the supply is limited. Very limited, yes.
Yeah, it's limited for sure because you can't add new ones. But or I guess you could go overseas maybe and add it and
possibly
then bring it back. Yeah. I don't know.
Somebody's got to figure out a workaround, right? Like we've got some really smart people in this country that they think about all the things that you can do in a roundabout way online. Downloading TikTok without using the App Store feels like shouldn't even be that hard.
I guarantee you there's already VPN, companies that are figuring out a way to do it.
Yeah, but there's got to be a cheaper way than $50,000.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We're really looking forward to the NFL Conference Championships coming up this weekend. We've only got 2 or 3 more real football games until August, September. Crazy. Allie and everyone, I want to know your thoughts. You can send it in at 8772 RadioU on the comments made by Washington Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Witt, who he has said that, Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, he runs a lot.
Yeah.
Joe Witt says if he's going to run the ball and the coordinator makes the decision for him to run the ball, we're going to treat him like a running back and we're going to hit him that way. Do you find that problematic?
No, it's football.
Some have said that this is problematic, that these are controversial comments, that he shouldn't be saying this.
Why?
I don't know. I guess.
Do you not want should the Commanders not try and win?
That's what I'm on your side. I actually think it's ridiculous. I definitely saw some prominent names out here saying that he shouldn't be talking like this. This is inappropriate or whatever. I mean,
what? How is it inappropriate?
He is not saying they're trying to injure him or anything.
No, he's just saying we're going to tackle him like he is a running player, a player that is going to run on the field, which Jalen Hurts is that player. And that makes perfect sense.
And I feel like even if you want to imply some undertones that he is saying like, oh, we're going to try to hurt him. He didn't say that.
No.
But what he did do is try to plant a seed in the mind of Jalen Hurts when he does run, or a seed of the coordinator, Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator for the Eagles, when he's choosing the plays of like, well, do I really want to put him at risk? And if they feel like, as the Commanders, if they feel like Jalen Hurts having a little hesitation when he runs, or them having a hesitation to call the run play that might be the better play in that moment, any hesitation is good for them. And so I really don't understand why there was any blowback to that. So I feel like I actually like what Joe Witt said.
Yeah, same. It sounds like people that are upset with it are just yapping. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to create some drama in this situation. But like you said, I think Joe Witt is just trying to place a seed of doubt in the Eagles' minds that they're like, maybe we shouldn't try this, or do we need to rethink our strategy here, which is never a bad idea. It's a war. You want to get in your opponent's mind.
Yeah, play the mind games, play the chess match. Three-dimensional chess. Of course, so we have Commanders, Eagles. We've got Chiefs, Bills again. How do you feel like it's going to go this weekend?
Hudson, oh man, it's so tough here because I do feel like I went against the Commanders against the Detroit Lions. I felt like Detroit was going to come out on top, even though I did really respect what the Commanders did this season, but I definitely underestimated them. They looked amazing. And as an Ohio State fan, I love seeing Terry McLaurin out there tearing it up.
Yeah.
So I really do think the Commanders are just red hot right now. I think they're going to beat the Eagles.
Okay. And then they're going to face off against...
And here's where I have my problem, because I feel like it's really bad if I pick both of the underdogs. But I so desperately want the Buffalo Bills to beat the stupid Kansas City Chiefs. I do not like them at all. And, oh, man, yeah, I want Josh Allen to get it done this year.
So there's 4 potential Super Bowl combos, and 3 of them are really fun. The only one that's no fun is Chiefs-Eagles. Yeah. Which, I don't know, it's still, they're very good teams. Right. I'll be excited. It's a good matchup. It's just, we've seen it before. I feel like we have an idea of how it would play out. It's just not new and fun. No, we have, at least we have Chiefs fatigue. I don't know if Eagles fatigue is quite there yet, but definitely Chiefs fatigue. I think Nene has Eagles fatigue. I'm sure he does. He's always had Eagles fatigue. I'm sure he does. But yeah, I would say even if it ends up being Bills-Eagles, I'm okay with that. Yeah. But I definitely don't want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Something a little different. But I just think we're going to get more of the same. I think the Commanders having to play outside against the Eagles, and they don't have a great run defense, and the Eagles do have Saquon Barkley, so I think the Eagles can run all over. Although I'll be happy if the Commanders do wind up winning, and then the Bills cannot play the way they did against the Ravens and beat the Chiefs. I mean, that's fair. And on the road, and so I think the Chiefs get it done. You give me the better quarterback, and even more importantly, and because that's by a close margin, but you give me the better coach. Andy Reid definitely better than Sean McDermott. The Chiefs, and they're at home. The Chiefs are going to win. Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl again. This is actually insane. You know, there's not a lot of things I can read that make me question how I eat, but this might be able to do it. We have a report here of a man in Florida who had reportedly been on what he calls the carnivore diet with high levels of cholesterol, such as eating things like meat cheese, and butter, and that's like all he ate. The problem is he ate so much of it that cholesterol literally started seeping out of his body, according to doctors. It says he visited doctors after he began to develop painless but noticeable yellowish nodules emerging from his hands and elbows. And I guess those nodules were cholesterol.
Oh my goodness.
Grouping up. About 8 months before his symptoms appeared, he had switched to the carnivore diet, which required him to consume high amounts of fat. Listen, I don't even care, cholesterol or otherwise. I don't want my body to be seeping anything.
No, that does not sound pleasant, even though, it was painless, but still does not sound pleasant. Sounds really gross.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked not too long ago about the new horror film called The Substance, which is like a body horror.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I envisioned.
This is body horror.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. You think about, too, like a lot of people eat a lot of meat and cheese and butter.
Sure.
How much was this guy eating? For how long?
I mean, it was all he was eating for 8 months.
I guess 8 months.
That's crazy. And also there are some, due to genetics, there are some people that automatically create more cholesterol than others. Mm-hmm. And so that could also be a part of it. Like genetically, he could be more the person that has higher levels of cholesterol. And so when he switches to this diet, it could have just gotten worse and worse and worse.
How, if you have to think too, that if he was developing cholesterol nodules on his hands and elbows, what did his heart look like?
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, is he okay?
Yeah, how is he alive?
Right. Did he not have blockages? Does he need heart stents? Like, what's going on there? So, I mean, I guess it's better for it to be seeping out than to be blocking up, arteries. But yeah, that is just... It is rough.
That's so true.
I mean, I've heard things about the carnivore diet before, but it makes sense that this would be one of the downsides of it, is that you are, potentially opening yourself up to high cholesterol.
Yeah. That is, this is enough to scare me away from eating meat for at least a couple hours. And then I will go back. But you know what? Maybe I'll use margarine instead of butter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That'll keep it from seeping out of me. Seeping. That is a horrible word.
That's a horrible word.
I don't want anything to seep out of my body. So what better way to launch into the weekend than with another edition of Right Up My Alley?
Yes, I'm so excited. As I teased yesterday, this Right Up My Alley has something to do with where I grew up, which was Africa. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Zambia. And I thought it would be fun to talk about some animals in Africa, and specifically what they are referred to as when they're in a group.
Okay.
So I think most people assume that when a group of animals are together, you call them a herd.
A herd. A flock.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of animals actually have a specific word, and maybe even multiple, that are used to kind of like give a description of a group of them together. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go through, and I feel like each one gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with one, and I feel like it should be pretty easy because you did just go see Mufasa. Uh-huh. So what is a group of lions called?
Yes. So that is a pride. Everybody knows that that's a pride.
Good job. So step one, you got it right. There's always 3 questions in Right Up My Alley. I guess should remind everyone of that. Oh, yeah. Where's your little dinger? There we go.
I got it right.
You got that right. All right. This second one is a little harder, but I think you might be able to get this. What is a group of baboons called?
That seems like it would be called like a troop.
That's right.
Wow.
Good job.
I was just saying something that sounded right.
I was really nervous that you were going to go with the classic meme, which is actually wrong, which says that the group of baboons is called a congress, which is not true at all.
Which animal group is a congress then?
I'm not sure if there is one, but for whatever reason, that meme has gone around for years saying that a group of baboons is congress. Haha, makes sense,
Oh, I get it.
But it's actually a troop. So, yeah, that's good. Okay, last question. I feel like this one is the hardest. What is a group of zebra called?
Now, many would think the thing that comes to mind is probably herd, right?
That's the one that comes to mind, but it's not accurate.
That can't be it. But what other word, when you think of it, there's a bunch of zebra together, it kind of seems like a manifest.
A manifest?
Yes, a manifest of zebra.
Right. Well, unfortunately, not correct. Sorry about that. It's actually called a dazzle.
A dazzle of zebra.
Yep. A dazzle of zebra.
Then what do you call a group of unicorns? Because that's what I would have called that.
I don't know if they have a term for that. But yeah, that's what you call a group of zebra together. You call them a dazzle. So to be a dazzle of zebra, like if you're on like a safari and you see them together. So that's for zebra. I also think it's interesting because if you grew up in Africa, you never say zebra.
What do you say?
You say zebra.
Oh, no, yeah, that's how people make fun of me for saying that.
Oh, do you pronounce it the correct way?
Well, I did until people kept saying, stop saying it like that.
Yeah, because if you grow up overseas, so let's say you are, because, Zambia was a British colony, so very impacted by British culture, spelling, all of those things. So we spell honor with a U, color with a U, and we pronounce Z as a Z.
Yes.
So it's zebra instead of zebra.
That's how it was for a long time in Canada, too.
Yeah,
it was very like some of my grandparents, I think, would say Zed.
Yeah, that would make sense, right? With like the European influence that Canada has. So,
yeah. So I can go back to saying zebra.
Yeah.
And I don't have to feel bad about it.
I will fully support you doing that.
Will you support me also calling it yogurt?
What?
Yogurt instead of yogurt.
Oh, do they say it that way?
I think they do.
I didn't know that.
I do.
Okay. Good job, Hudson. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I've got a real high percentage in right up my alley. Get your popcorn ready. It's our weekend tradition here on the Hudson Show, the weekend watch list, letting you know which movies are new that you could be watching in theaters and at home this weekend. Possibly the biggest new release of January is hitting theaters this weekend.
Okay.
Which is not saying much. But the one that I've definitely seen the most advertisements for, and that is Flight Risk, is now in theaters. Directed by Mel Gibson, starring Mark Wahlberg. A U.S. Marshal boards a small plane to transfer a government witness to New York. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions start to rise as not everyone on the flight is who they appear to be.
Ooh.
Mark Wahlberg... This is the one where he has the hair. If you've seen the commercials
or the
for that.
lack of hair.
Yeah, the lack of hair. The critics not very kind to this one. It has a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Bob Strauss of the San Francisco Chronicle says the equivalent of a suspenseful Spirit Airlines commercial.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch. Flight Risk, now in theaters.
Yikes.
Your next option... Oscar-nominated The Brutalist, starring Adrian Brody. Escaping post-war Europe, a visionary architect comes to America to rebuild his life, his career, and his marriage. On his own in a strange new country, he settles in Pennsylvania, where a wealthy and prominent industrialist recognizes his talent. Obviously, it's nominated for many Oscars, including Best Picture. It has great reviews, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Deborah Ross of The Spectator says, this is a film of ambition and swagger, and Brody's performance, suffused with pain and longing, is terrific. However, there are some odd decisions, and we'll leave it there.
All right.
Because that's what Rotten Tomatoes, that's where they left it as well. You could have cut that part out of the quote, I suppose. I will have to see The Brutalist since it is nominated for Oscars, but I'm also looking forward to it because it sounds like it could be good.
Sounds like an interesting film.
Now in theaters. Finally, now in theaters, Brave the Dark. When Mr. Dean discovers one of his students has been living out of his car and thrown into jail, he decides to bail him out. Determined to curb Nate's, I guess that's the student's, self-destructive behavior, Mr. Dean discovers a host of secrets that are slowly tearing Nate apart. Brave the Dark is now in theaters. It has a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Nell Minow of Movie Mom says, based on the true story of a teacher who changed the life of a homeless student, made with love by the noun-grown boy himself. Is that true?
I didn't know that.
I don't know either.
Okay, that's kind of cool if it is true.
Yeah, so that you can go see in theaters Flight Risk, The Brutalist, or Brave the Dark of the new releases this weekend. However, there's also many that aren't technically new releases on streaming they've been out in theaters, but are now on streaming. Gladiator 2 is on Paramount Plus. The Wild Robot is on Peacock. Saturday Night is on Netflix about Saturday Night Live. I'm really interested in that one. And Blink Twice is now on Prime Video.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I'll be watching that.
So many options. You cannot say this weekend, well, there wasn't enough to watch. There's something for everybody.
Something for everyone, including football.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But there's no more Saturday football anymore.
Yeah.
We got some time to fill.
It's true.
We'll see you at the movies. Well, I'm glad this has finally been settled. A ruling has been made in the Colorado Supreme Court that declares once and for all, elephants aren't people. Thankfully, they've cleared that up for us. Apparently, that case, in a way, was before the Colorado Supreme Court because some were suing on 5 elephants' behalf that are currently held at a Colorado zoo for their release. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs is home to Missy, Kimba, Lucky, Lulu, and Jambo. And
also hello in Swahili.
Some claim that those elephants would like to be released, but thanks to this ruling, now the elephants do not have that right to pursue their release.
Oh, man. Well, obviously they didn't have the right to begin with because it was a human activist group that was pursuing their release into a sanctuary.
What did the elephants do to try to signify that they want to be released? Like paint a picture?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. Apparently, this group called the Non-Human Rights Project, they also did this for a zoo that was at the Bronx Zoo, an elephant there named Happy. They brought a case forward in New York that was also defeated, similarly to this one in Colorado. But they said that the elephants, which were born in the wild in Africa, have shown signs of brain damage because the zoo is essentially like a prison for them. And they, elephants are known, as they say, to roam for miles a day. And so obviously, zoo is able to offer that.
Right.
And so they wanted the animals released to one of the 2 accredited elephant sanctuaries in the United States because the group doesn't think that they could no longer, live in the wild, which is absolutely true.
Right.
After an animal has been in captivity, it's very rare that they could be released into the wild again. But I gotta be honest, Hudson, I'm really torn on this. And it's because I obviously don't believe elephants are human.
Yeah.
But as a person that did grow up in Africa, I really do struggle when I go to the zoo.
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point in our history, the cat is out of the bag with the, we can't not have zoos anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's animals that are constantly being born into zoos. And
right.
I just don't know that we could ever wean ourselves off of it. But if we had never had a zoo before, whoever came up with the idea for the zoo, maybe his name was Jeff Zoo. I would like to have a talk with him and be like, what are you thinking, Jeff? This is wrong. We shouldn't be putting these animals. They're meant to be out and about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. P.T. Barnum, is he to blame? I'm not sure, but it's rough. I mean, I don't like seeing it. I have a vivid memory of being at a zoo and seeing an elephant that had a chain around its leg. And it honestly traumatized me as a kid because I'm like, that's not where it's meant to be.
Right.
That elephant should never be in that situation. And I understand there are so many great people that work at zoos, so many knowledgeable people.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of animals that live way longer in captivity than they would in the wild. I'm not denying that at all. They get medical attention. They get all sorts of benefits of what they wouldn't get. They don't have food insecurity, nothing like that, what they would face in the wild, but it is tough because it's just like, that's not what they were intended for.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 things I always think when I go to a zoo. Like, I'll get it'll bum me out. I know with the zoo near us, they have wolves. And you can see the path around in their enclosure where they just pace the whole time.
Yep.
And I think that always bums me out. But then I tell myself, again, it's too late now.
Yeah.
That, zoos are zoos and we're not going to never have zoos anymore. And then I'm like, well, and it's for education. It does teach kids and adults. There's a lot you can learn from zoos. And so it is good. There are good aspects of it. And it helps us not just and we can also research animals there in different ways. And so there are good aspects to it, but it feels a little wrong.
If you can ever go and see an animal in its natural habitat, you're never going to be able to go back.
Yeah.
There's your warning.
It would be way better. And all zoos are not created equal, too.
Sure, yeah.
I've actually been to some that I think, I wish I didn't go here. I wish I didn't spend money to help this place.
Oh.
We've heard about ghosting for a long time, but have you ever heard about ghost jobs? Ghost jobs are jobs that are fake or never filled, or in other words, fake. And that is, if you search online, if you're in the job market at the moment, that's 1 out of every 5 jobs is a ghost job.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If you've ever tried to, apply on these websites like Indeed or Glassdoor, and you're constantly applying but not getting many responses back, it does kind of seem like, okay, is this actually going to anyone? Is anybody getting 100%. Any messages for this? And I actually did, I know a couple years ago, it might have been a couple years ago, that scam was going around where people were getting scammed by these big offerings of like jobs that pay a lot of money, and then they would send you a check and be like, here's the equipment you need to buy for your at-home work job, and you would go buy this equipment, and then the check would bounce and you were out that money. That actually almost happened to me.
Oh no.
Yeah. I almost got, I thankfully I didn't fall for the scam.
Yeah.
But,
that's like ghost job at another level though.
Right. But that type of stuff goes on all the time on these websites. And it's really sad. I wish that Indeed and Glassdoor did a better job at actually vetting these listings.
Yeah. It is true that it feels like not only there's just so much stuff that is almost transparently, like you don't have to look incredibly hard to go, I just don't think that this is actually a job. And then it'll say, especially if it says stuff like freelance or whatever, it's just like, I'm getting, this is a scam. Yeah. It feels like a scam. Even if it's a real job, it's probably a scam job. You know what I mean? And then I don't know if this is a new study reported by the Wall Street Journal, but I don't know if it even takes into account that when these companies are putting out these jobs, right? That if they're putting them out on all of these different websites, that even if the job title gets filled, that doesn't mean it doesn't still wind up sitting there looking like an open job on all these sites for who knows how long. And I really wish there was more of a way where companies were held, as in like the companies that are hiring, or like ZipRecruiter, like somebody could do something on this where you actually have like a status update on your job, because how frustrating is it? You're putting out all these applications and you don't know if anybody's read it, if you got rejected, if you need to send a follow-up, you never know. And I think it would be in everybody's best interest if people knew that, like, well, yours just hasn't been looked at yet, or it has been looked at, and that would be people like, oh, maybe I should send a follow-up, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Could go a long way. But obviously that'd be more work for everyone except the people sending out applications that are really hurt by this. Exactly. And so it's just a tough situation. It's a tough world right now to try and get a job in like corporate America or any type of professional setting. You're running into issues like these all the time, especially if you don't know anyone that works at that company. So you don't have an inside, person to talk to and get updates from, or, you don't have someone to introduce you to like the hiring manager. I've heard so many other people that are, like similar ages around me and looking for new jobs and whatnot, and they seem to find them because of who they know, and that's that's what we've been told our whole lives, right? Contacts. It's all about who you know. That's why I don't wear glasses. So that is so true when looking for a job. One person told me that if you can, get a recruiter, because that also will help kind of eliminate some of the headaches. Yeah, that 100%. It's just it feels like if you're trying to just find a job, it feels like a needle in a haystack. Yeah. More so than I think ever. And I wish that would get better. Yep. But it doesn't show it. No signs of there being less fake jobs going around. I think the numbers are just going to increase. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.